Hi and welcome back. It is a lovely day here in Central Texas. I think this is the last hurrah of winter before we go into the oh my god, I wish it was winter again months. Now, let's go ahead and recap last year. Last year, nothing grew. I didn't see dandelions. I didn't see any of the beneficial weeds. Even part of my lawn, you can see behind me, died. It's coming back very slowly, but I still have a lot of bald spots. We were in a drought, high heat, like 120s heat. I don't know how much that is in Celsius. I'll see if I can put that down there. And even in the springtime, I didn't see any of the beneficial weeds like dandelions or henbit, anything like that. This year, I see it in abundance, and we are hopefully going to have a good growing season this year. Sorry about the wiggle. I am holding this and my arm hurts. Yeah. All right. It looks like I have a lot of cleanup to do. Lots of grass. But I also want to go ahead and go over the weeds that we have that we can actually eat, because this is the first foraging of the season. Now, I'm not going to go out to the park to do this because number one, I don't have time, and number two, it's cold. It's like 40 degrees right now. So we're going to go ahead and go over what we have. I have this mammoth of a dandelion. See, it's trying to bloom and spread its seed. Whenever these flowers do bloom, I'm going to leave this here because I want the blooms to make tea. Okay, we're going to clip those flowers and make tea out of them. You can actually make dandelion tea out of the dandelion jelly out of the tea that you make with the blooms. The stems and the leaves you can chop up and cook as spinach, and the root, which is going to take me forever to dig out, can be made also into a tea coffee substitute. I've got my garlic that I'm going to bring up. That's elephant garlic. It suffered last year, and we're just going to leave that. Clean out everything. So what did survive? I've got chamomile that survived. That looks like it's doing very well. More garlic. More dandelion. I'm going to actually pluck these. And this is cleavers. If you taste this, it has a citrus taste to it. And that has high in vitamin C. They look kind of like shamrocks, but they're not. And here is the henbit. They haven't flowered yet. This is high in iron. And this is one of the last of the winter croppings. Okay, because you'll see this coming up in late winter. It likes the cold. Okay, so it looks like my lemon balm survived the winter. This is weeds. This is crabgrass that needs to come out. This right here is my lemongrass, which we're going to wait and see if it comes up before we pull this. Here's something I am very excited about. These are my grapes. These were planted 2 years ago, and as you can see, they're actually growing, because we have had over 70-degree weather. I thought it was spring. It's not. I do have some roses in the back there, some tea roses that survived as well. I just need to fix this. Okay, this is my Japanese honeysuckle. Very beneficial if you made a tincture. And I'll put a description of its benefits below. I like making teas and candy with the blooms. And here we have my fig. I do believe this is a male fig. I've had this fig for over 10 years and I have not had any fruit out of it. So what I did is that I went over to the nursery and actually got a fruiting fig and put it right next to it. So that is basically over here in between my garden beds, which I need to clean out as well. And if you look real close, it's starting to sprout again. Because Grandma likes fruit. And we have our first peach blooms. And I'm hoping this tree survives, because somebody left the gate open and a deer started chewing on the trunk. You see that right there? I would hate to have to try to get another peach. We already had to down the peach that we had that was here whenever we bought the house, because it didn't make it last year. It completely died, along with we think it got either struck by lightning or one of the male deer rubbed its antlers along the bark and stripped the bark off of one of the major branches and just killed the tree. Because either way, that bark is gone, and we're hoping to maybe put some other trees over here, maybe a pear and another plum. My red plum is going absolutely aped. I made a short of that. I'm going to go ahead and put it on this this upcoming shorts video, because it was absolutely gorgeous. And cross our fingers, we have plums this year. Last year we had a windstorm come through, and after it all bloomed, the windstorm came and stripped all the flowers off of it, and we got 0 plums last year. And I'm hoping we're going to have more. We also have this I planted last year. It's either comfrey or mullein. I'm not too sure which one it is. It was unmarked whenever we bought it. It has a smell to it. Usually mullein doesn't have a smell to it. I'm thinking this is comfrey. And here is those Chinese flat-leafed onions. that come up every single year. It never dies, and it just keeps multiplying. So today's going to be a garden cleanup day. All right, so I have my buckets. We're going to save some of these weeds and process them inside. Okay, all I have to do is wash them and cut them up, put them in the freezer. That's it. That's all you have to do with these to be able to be used for later. Now, I generally use them in the morning time. If I'm making eggs, I'll sprinkle some in my eggs to make like an egg scramble, like I did with the sausage. It adds the nutrition into the food, and you're eating it on a normal basis. You don't have to do anything special with these. So let's go ahead and we're going to compost this grass. Because there's still a lot of good stuff. This grass will break down in a compost pile, and we need to add some green to the compost pile. We have a lot of brown from last year. All right, I got all the grass out. And I have garlic that has never been grown in these spots before. Right next to my fig tree. And behind the peach tree. What? I've got two. I'm filming. Oh. Excuse my appearance. Please. But I am almost done weeding everything. These I'm going to go ahead and turn over in the dirt. Whatever's left in here. And then we're going to go ahead and clean up this back area at a later time. I need to put more dirt into this for my climbing vines, like my loofah and beans that I started. I did start some seeds that will be able to plant here in about a week or two. Like I said, this is the last hurrah before spring springs. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and plant some radishes, some carrots, some of the fast growing vegetables like lettuce, because we have some time. Those are cold weather vegetables that like to be, you know, to come out and have this cold weather, and it'll, whenever it warms up, it'll make those seeds germinate a little bit better, because they like the cold, I do believe it's called stratus, something like that, to be able to germinate. Just like garlic, they like to have the cold, freezing temperatures, and then they just bounce back. to the compost bin. All right, what I have here is some mixed dirt, perlite, moss, manure, and dirt. This is stuff I mixed up last year, let it set over winter, so it's not so strong. And yes, I recognize I need to replace this too. We're gonna go ahead and mix that in best we can, and then plant our seeds. There we go. All right, now to get our winter stuff in. Now we have the garden cleaned up and fertilized. We have our dandelions that we're going to clean and cut up and put in the freezer. We also have our cleavers, which has that nice citrus taste. You can actually make a tea out of this. It would work. We also have some garlic that I pulled off with the rest of the weeds, some leaves. We're going to go ahead and make something with this, as well as the garlic that is not supposed to be where it's supposed to be. Okay, so for my winter slash spring garden, I am going to do some broccoli rabe. Okay, I've grown broccoli rabe on this side of the house. I didn't have too bad of a problem with that. Last time I did it in fall, overwintered it, and it seemed to work pretty well. We'll see if it works this time. Okay, some leaf cabbage. Okay, this is not head cabbage, this is just the leaves. Two types of radishes. I've got the cherry bells and the white radishes. I'm going to start planting my safflower. Safflower is better known as the American saffron. It comes up as a thistle, so it's more of a flower than anything else, but it is a great attraction for pollinators. Large leaf basil, we're going to start that this year, along with some choy sum. It's another type of broccoli, something in the broccoli family. It's a, if you can tell, it's more of the stem than anything else. So if you like stem and for that crunch, this is perfect for you. Okay, and along with some, leaf lettuce mixes that I got for free on seed exchanges. At work, it'll grow, and I'll go ahead and do this in sequence. Some today, some next week after that, to where we can have a continuous stream, at least for the spring season. Okay, so over here we're going to go ahead and do some lettuce. The reason why I have it over here is because it is going to be the most sunny spots in this garden, as well as the most wet. So let's go ahead and get out our lettuce. Now, because these are tiny seeds, you don't have to do trenches or anything else. Hold on. Love you. We're just going to sprinkle that everywhere. And then we're going to save some for next week. So this is going to all be lettuce. You don't have to dig trenches. You don't have to dig holes or even measure. Some people are like that. They'll be like, oh, you have to have them 6 inches apart. No, you don't. It's called thinning. Yeah, and you eat what you thin. We're going to do our broccoli rabe on this side of this plant, the back side. Just a few seeds will do. And this packet will last me 2-3 years. Nobody said you have to plant the whole packet. And then here we go with the radishes. I'm going to do the reds in the back, right here. Now let me... Okay, so we're going to do the reds in the back over here and the whites in the front. And like I said, you don't have to do the whole packet. This brand, they really didn't give you that many seeds. Here we go. And then white. Since these are tiny, you know, these are tiny seeds. Usually the bigger the seed, the deeper the seed has to go underground. These are about maybe a 1/4 inch underneath, and you don't have to have any special tools to do this. You just have to have loose soil. I have more seeds in this one than I did the other one. Let's go ahead and bury these. One thing about radishes as well is that they break up the soil really well. They push the soil out to where it becomes aerated. So you want to do radishes, even if you don't eat them. It is wonderful to break up the soil and the hard clay. Okay, so if you know me and you've been watching for a while, you know that I have gardens on both sides of my house. The storm that came by here did some damage. I'll go ahead and show you that damage. This is going to be this year's project. I'm not going to have much on my shady side this year. Okay, besides the plum tree, which we're hoping for a lot of plums this year because the leaves did not come off, my structure fell down. We've had to disassemble most of it. We're going to go ahead and rebuild this side of the garden. And we had to take down my arches, which I am very sad about because I've got loofah started that I want to grow. And the fence, we have the materials to rebuild this fence. We're going to get rid of the wrought iron because this is the only wrought iron that we have on the property. We're going to go ahead and match it with the regular chain link fence that we have. But this wrought iron has been here since we bought the house in 2007. Okay. Additions that we made last year, besides, you know, testing out that, I still have not put I filled that up and put mint in it yet. Going to be doing that this year. We also bought a new bird feeder. This is a concrete, and it's a wonderful bird feeder. all the squirrels and bees and birds love it. These two didn't make it. These were olive trees. They were supposed to come inside during the winter and didn't make it. I still have garlic planted in here. I don't know how successful they're going to be, but we are going to be making a berry patch. We have blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. All the berries that grow here are going to be, right now they're in pots until we can get an area cleaned for them. We know where we want to put it. We just need to clean it out. So we have our work cut out for us on one side of the house. So we're going to be gardening mostly on the sunny side this year. Our shady side is, we're still going to have some stuff growing here, not as much as we were hoping, until we can get everything rebuilt. And I'm hoping we're going to be able to do that before fall, because once fall comes around, that's whenever the most of the things that are grown come into full bloom here. Because the summers are so hot, we don't get tomatoes in the summertime. We get them in the springtime and we get them in the fall time, because the heat is usually too hot for the tomatoes to produce. And this is going to be this week's project. Before work, I'm going to be cutting every single one of these branches, and we're going to be using them for barbecue. Waste not, want not. Well, thanks for coming out with my chores. That's much needed. There are other things out there that are starting to bloom. I have noticed the pink buttercups and the yellow buttercups are blooming. Those are also edible. You can add them to your salads. They have some vitamin C in there, but just don't pick so many. They're just now coming into bloom, and we need the bees and the pollinators need those to be able to wake up and have enough energy to be able to pollinate everything else. So thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.